Have you ever had a song in your head that you wish you could let out? You have sound and melodies bouncing around, but you don't know music, you can't play the piano, and you wish there was a way to just translate what's in my mind to what's ain't in my mind. We talking about mind to melody. Ow!
Daddy, Captain.
This is the Sensonic drums right here by Mattel. An actual instrument here is electronics, but hang with me, I'm going to make an example. And this is a fun one to play because it's always quantized. Uh-oh. All right, so now imagine somebody took each individual sound from this instrument and sampled it, in other words, recorded it. And now,
Check it out.
it's a software version of that, and you can hit buttons and trigger the equivalent hardware sounds. This is basically how MIDI works, musical instrument digital interface. I did an entire video, episode about MIDI. Check that out, it's in the description. But basically, you can see with this instrument, we have a limited range of sounds, all right, because it's a percussion. But now let me show you another example. The Casio VL-Tone VL1, another wonderful electronic instrument. Let me show you real quick where you might have actually heard this instrument from. Watch this. That little rock beat was used in the very popular song Da 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 by the Trio. I think it was #1 in Germany. Is that still? It might still be #1 in Germany. But now this is not a percussion instrument. This is getting closer to a piano. So as with our Mattel drum machine, someone has sampled all of these sounds. This is a MIDI controller that would be used for drums, percussion, you know. And this is a MIDI controller that just would be traditional, like a piano roll, keyboards and synthesizer, things like that. But both of these is a MIDI controller. That means you can use both to send MIDI signals to your computer. So we have every one of these sounds, basically the whole spectrum of what we can make music with, laid out right there in a plug-in. Hang with me, it's fixing to get exciting, just hang with me. So, if you have a melody in your head like da 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 da, well, let's see if we go like that. Da da. Anyway, y'all saw how long it took me to find that? Instead of having to hunt and peck and find the right note, now what we're trying to do today is we want to eliminate and control all these sounds just using our voice. And that's where IMITONE comes into the picture. Mind to melody. This plugin was invented by my man Evan Bouster right here, who, to be honest, if he said, hey, Craftsman, you need to take this prescription, I probably would trust him. Look at him.
IMITONE transforms your voice into any instrument.
And if you can whistle, or you can hum, you can actually trigger the matching note with your voice. That's crazy. That's tremendous creative possibility right there, especially for people who ain't musicians like Mr. Craftsman. Alright, so if you don't know, Craftsman uses a digital audio program called Reaper. That's what I make all my songs in. And you can use IMITONE in Reaper. But for now, this is pretty fun. You can actually just run IMITONE just like it is, standalone. And you can use it as a live performance tool. So let me just explain what's going on. The gray going back and forth, that's Craftsman's voice. And these colors, that's IMITONE saying, all right, I know what note you're trying to hear. Let's listen to it. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, this is the gate. If you have a microphone that's very quiet, not very hot, you might have to lower. Or either if you in a, let me uncheck auto adjust. Look at that. Now, if you're in an environment that's awful noisy, maybe you can raise the gate so that it takes more to trigger the sound. All right. So right out the gate, we have a variety of different instrument sounds that electric guitar, FX bass. I can't believe I just said bass. FX bed, FX lead, FX brass, horn, oboe, voice therapy. Ooh, that's fun. FX pad. So if you're having trouble getting the range, all right, that you want, look at this right here. You could actually come down here and change it. So you might be more of a baritone, for example, and then it's going to start maybe being in your comfort zone. All right, so we have different ways in which the pitch can be followed. Probably the ones I use the most is just keep it on pitch follow and sweep right there. But if you want to get crazy, you can come over here to exact pitch and it will exactly match. Yeah. That's so crazy. All right, so we can be here all day. You can do so much with this, and because it's very low latency, IMITONE can be used as a standalone music performance tool. Basically, what has to happen is you need to be able to speak into IMITONE, the software, and then hear almost as immediately as you inputted it. That is called low latency. So this needs to happen, input, process, output, in a matter of milliseconds. Why does it need to be fast? Because if there's a delay from here to the time you hear it, it's going to be very hard for you to perform live in real time. That's why it's so powerful. The IMITONE is low latency. But let me show you how I use it. All right, this is Reaper. Now, as I said earlier, Reaper is free or very cheap. I have the licensed version because I use it in my videos, but it is completely worth the price. I'm going to go right click, insert a new track, and I'm going to go to my effects and IMITONE voice to MIDI. So if you get it loaded and it says no sound and you're thinking, what in the world? Let me go check my microphone. It looks like it's supposed to be on and blah, blah, blah. Well, look here. The track has to be on for record. Now, let's see. Something's coming through, but we don't hear anything. Well, we're not running it in standalone mode anymore. We are running it within a Digital Audio Workstation. So I'm going to go to Add. And we're going to come to Instruments, and I'm just going to pick my UVI workstation. The reason why, it just has a ton of other instruments in it. Let's go to the Fair Voice. So let me uncheck it just real quick. That's pretty fantastic. So what's going on here? We are using IMITONE as a controller, and it is actually going to the notes based on our voice. Does that make sense? And now we can make all these sounds. That's pretty neat. Let me show you how I actually use this to record music First, I create a new track, and my input is my microphone. This is for my voice coming in. All right, so we're gonna call it voice. Go to our effects, IMITONE, boom shakalaka, and we're not going to set anything up just yet. And remember, we have to arm our track before we can see things happening. All right, but for now, let's disarm it. Now I'm going to insert a virtual instrument. Let's do something a little different this time. We should use a Lo-Fi Panda 3. I like that one. All right. So again, another instrument, and you can use buku of instruments, free ones, paid ones, all kinds of instruments in this world that you can use with IMITONE. I'm just showing you the ones I got. All right. And now I'm going to set record output MIDI. That basically means that this track is going to record MIDI data, but we got to do something real quick. Routing, and I'm going to hit a new send to Lo-Fi Panda 3. So just like that. That's pretty cool. All right, so this is where it gets even more exciting. Craftman can't sing worth a flip, as y'all already know, but watch this. Let's say you got some other kind of instrument you just want to grab. Let's see. All right, well, let's just try that one. Boop, boop. Now listen to this. Let me turn it down because it looks like it might be finna be loud. That's pretty neat. And watch this right here. What if I hit record? This track is armed. What's going to happen? So now we have, and to remind you, this is the original sound. All right, we just generated this right here. I just wanted to make sure I got that point across that you can input your voice and you can input any sound, any instrument. Now, here's a fun example. We've got us a drum beat programmed. I don't know if I want that note or not. How do y'all think that sounds? I think I might delete that. All right, so yes, we have a beat, and now we would like to add some bass to it. Oh yeah. So what I'm going to do is for the instrument, we're going to come in here to our 8-bit, our UVI workstation 8-bit. I'm going to go into bass and choose me something. Let me turn this down real quick. Ooh, yeah, that sounds good. So if you like Craftsman and your voice is all over the place, you definitely play with the keys and the scales and different things. Come over here and play with, blues scale or pentatonic. Pentatonic means 5 notes or 5 positions in the scale. But I like to actually come in here. This is how crazy I am. If you hold shift, see how that's got lines, hold shift, click. Now it's active. Now it's inactive. Likewise, inactive, active. All I'm doing, holding shift and clicking. So you can literally say, all right, I only want my voice to go between these 2 notes. Like that. Just like that. All right, does that make sense? And play. I think we need a 3rd position in there. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, let's add a 3rd position. I'm going to say, let's see, does this sound good? Let's turn this on. Maybe. What about this one? I like that. Ooh, right, so now we could just delete this if we want to, because ain't nobody want to hear that. Delete that. Now we can come in here if we want to, and if your timing is just a little bit off, fix it. And now you can take your notes that have been generated right here by IMITONE, duplicate this thing, add us another instrument, and this one we want to call it, let's try to find something with a little bit of arpeggiation to it. Ooh, Craftman, what you talking about? Arpeggiation means it's playing a sequence of notes. Okay, let's might find a different one. What's this effect kit? Let's see. Okay. Okay. Probably not going to be a top 10. Let's see. Ooh, high strings too. Let's see, that might sound all right. Let's roll with the Craftman. And of course, then once you do that, you might want to just go ahead and copy paste. I'm gonna go change this to something different. Let's just see. Ooh, I like that. It's got some movement to it. Yeah. All right, so now what I want to do with this one is go ahead and I'm going to select all my notes, and we right here see us at the F2. We're going to bring it up. F3. It's going to make it a higher octave. All right, so I'm going to actually delete this one. Copy, paste this one over there. So now, together, all right. Now, with that being done, are we recording? Yes, we are recording. Yes. All right. So now what I'm going to do is we have generated our MIDI, and I'm going to take our IMITONE track right here. We're going to work on another little something. But first of all, let me disable recording, and I'm going to go into routing, and see right here we send into instrument track 2, track 3. That's these right here. We don't need that anymore, because now the MIDI is there thanks to IMITONE. So I'm going to just right click, insert virtual instrument on new track. We've been using VST Workstation. Let's just go with it. All right, so let me go ahead and organize. Let's call this one melody. We might do some sort of little lead melody right here, and we're going to send to the melody track. And now we're going to pick just some little instrument. Let's find. All right, that'll work for now. It really doesn't matter exactly. We just need to hear something. So let's go ahead and, ooh, there we go. Craftsman, like I said, is still learning music theory. So if I come in here and I see I've got F and A sharp, that I don't know enough to know what scale that's in. Therefore, I don't know what other notes might work. I can guess that that's probably going to work because it's the spacing of it. Just eyeballing it, I know I could probably use a D. But if you have something like a scalar plug-in right here, you can literally just have it listen to the notes. And then what happens is we have some scale options like B flat major, and that tells me the keys that I can use in there. Or you could just punch in your notes on an online key finder for free and get the same thing. And so we're going to arm this track for record. And remember, we have to tell it we want to record MIDI. Boom, shaka, tak. And all right. So I think I want this instrument to be higher in pitch because it's going to be more of a lead melody. So what I can do here is look at this. Shift it to a higher octave. Let's hear real time. Test. See that? All right, so before we do a little melody part, we need to give us a little more distance here, some room to play around with. And so we just copy paste it. All right, so we're going to put the cursor playhead right about there. And we're going to say like we want to do a solo right up in here. All right, so that's what we're going to do. Oh, mercy. All right. So, all right. Yeah, forgive me on that. Okay, so I'm going to immediately delete that track right there. It's done. Nobody needs that track anymore. And Craftsman's voice is so wavery all over the place, but let's just see. Let's see how that sounds. Ladies and gentlemen, that wasn't very complicated, but for me, it's exciting. Didn't have to play that. I was feeling it. And you can go through and fine tune and get these exactly right. But anyway, that is pretty fun right there. Let me show you a yet more involved example of how I use IMITONE. So, Craftsman decided to actually cover a song, and I chose to cover the Daniel Johnston song, True Love Will Find You in the End. And Craftsman can't sing, so what I did was I basically recorded me a ukulele part right here, and let's listen to just a little bit of that. All right. All right. So that's what that sounds like. And then we come in and bring up our IMITONE, bring up an instrument. And in this case, I'm using the high woods. And I just recorded like the last time. So I punch in a key and we record, and let me solo these two together so you can get an idea. Let's come over here somewhere. All right, so as you can kind of hear, I felt like since I'm not able to sing, there's no vocals to kind of tell a story and carry us through this. I said, I need to just add some more stuff to it. And I brought in some keys. This gives us it's got a low frequency oscillator. And I like the movement it had. So what I did was I duplicated my IMITONE notes, and look at this right here. I did right click, record MIDI, overdub replace. MIDI overdub, yes. And so then I took my notes, copied it to a new instrument, and did a record pass. So you see all these little mountains and valleys right here. Basically, that's just me going up and down on the mod wheel. And I also did the same thing for the pitch. So anytime a note is coming up that's going higher, I do my pitch wheel up. Then, right as it comes to the note, boom, I let it come back flat. See that? And as it's coming to the end of the note, I start to tilt my pitch wheel down to go to the next note. And then right as it gets to it, I let go. Boom. So it can hit the note. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just, see my ramp goes up, my ramp goes down, my ramp goes up. This is just a wonderful way to add some extra humanism, some character movement to your notes. So I decided to go for more of a lonesome sound. Let's just click somewhere in here. All right, so you get the idea with that. And then finally I came on to, let me start unsoloing so we can just hear everything. This was that's my first take of my ukulele. I didn't like that take, so I did another one. All right. And look at there. We got a couple more instruments down here. Let's see what this one is. Accordion. All right. I brought in an accordion and did another little instrument here just to give it some noise. Let's hear what that sounds like together over here. So adding the extra instruments can make all the difference in the world. Here's before. And here's with ukulele and instruments. There you go. You can make music using your mouth. Evan Balster, the inventor of IMITONE, says it better than I can.
I've got the idea. I've got the melody in my head. Why can't I just if I can sing it, if I can hum it, why can't I just put it on the computer?
And with that in mind, now just imagine if you're able to actually sing, which I'm sure all of you can sing better than Craftman. Imagine what you might be able to produce with IMITONE. And if you can play, then you can even use an instrument as an input and have IMITONE play a totally different sound. Tremendous thank you to Evan for sponsoring this video. IMITONE, Evan, thank you. And the team at IMITONE for the work y'all doing on this plugin. People like me really appreciate it, I can guarantee you. Thank you for joining me on this musical episode. I do encourage you to learn music theory as you can, but if you want to just be spontaneous, oh, I said that wrong. If you want to be unscripted and just make music, then check out IMITONE. There's a link in the description. Until next time, keep it on the top side. I love y'all. And keep on steady crafting.